how much are we generating in income from our Airbnbs.
Welcome to my channel. I'm Athena. Come with me as I go and clean the Airbnb today. Unfortunately, I cannot get anybody to clean today, so I have to go and do it myself. While I'm cleaning, I'm going to be telling you guys a little about how our Airbnb journey has been for the past 3 years.
3 years ago in July, we uploaded our first photos and created our account on Airbnb for hosting guests at our apartment in Discovery Bay. It was really a dream come true. We were really excited about all the possibilities, but we were also very naive and we didn't understand a lot. We had listed it on Airbnb, VBRO, and Booking.com, and we got our first booking on Booking.com. We were so excited. I remember us, like celebrating. One thing with Booking.com though is that they don't actually collect money for you. So you have to collect the money yourself. So the guest was in Jamaica. They said that they're coming for 3 days, and the arrangement is that we'd have somebody collect the money from them once they reach at the house. This guest was consistently communicating with us up until about 7 p.m. on the night of check-in, when he just decided that he'd stop answering our messages. We went through all sorts of lengths to make sure that everything was ready for him, but he did not show up. Because there was no money collected before, we had to call it a loss. So those days were blocked out and nobody else could book. I remember how we felt. We felt so disappointed and we were like, is this how it's going to be? And then we started to get bookings on Airbnb. With those bookings, we were still a bit nervous because, of course, the property was still under construction and we were hoping that persons wouldn't find fault with that. But most of the persons coming to the Airbnb at that time, they had bought property in the complex, so they didn't mind the disturbance. We got a couple of comments. Reviews, we were the first one to start. We learned a lot about, hosting, and we did a lot of research, but research alone is not enough when you're going to start up an Airbnb. You're going to find that you're still going to have things that you learn on your own based on mistakes that you've made. And we certainly learned a lot in the 3 years, and I'm so happy. Initially, our goal was just for the Airbnb to pay for itself, because if it's paying for itself, it's like it's accumulating equity and it's just growing on its own without us having to find money every month. So that was our minimum goal. We were successful in achieving our minimum goal, and in some months we'd make some amount of money, but other months we'll just make the bills, and that was fine for us because we're trying to leave a legacy for our kids and try to build generational wealth. We prayed over everything that we were doing, and we try our best to make sure that we were doing what we needed to do. After a year, or about a year and a half being on Airbnb website, we started to get a lot of bookings. We had months where we were just fully booked out and we were making a decent profit. So here we are with property that was carrying in money. We didn't have to do much work. Most of the work that we're doing is talking to the guests online and trying to mobilize persons to assist us at the house. But that was it. So we're basically making an income from this house without doing a lot of physical labor. So we decided to invest in another Airbnb, and that's when we started to search for a property in Kingston. We had to find something that was affordable but also in a good location, because those are some of the things that will help you to have a flourishing Airbnb. Since then, we have started this Airbnb. We have had hiccups along the way because it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But we always try to find a solution. And with everything that we do, we always try to include prior, because to me and my husband, that's very important. The Airbnbs are doing well now, and we are mostly booked out. If you are planning to stay at one of our Airbnbs, it's best you book ahead of time than to wait last minute, because very often than not, somebody will book the property. We have had months where we have 100% booking, like there's just back-to-back bookings. And on days like these, today being one of them, I have to come and clean the house myself if the cleaners are not available. Because if the cleaners are not available and there's a guest coming in, it has to be done. And since this is our business, I have to go and just do what I have to do. I don't mind taking care of the Airbnb myself though, and I love to have everything up to my standard. I love to ensure that the place is clean, so I like to check the apartment. Even after the cleaners have cleaned, I might just drive up randomly and just check the apartments to make sure that everything is up to scratch. I am the type of person that I love when my guests have a good time. I love when they enjoy themselves and feel comfortable in our little Airbnb, and that's what we have been doing. Currently, you can see that July has been such a good month for us. We were blessed to have the apartments being almost fully booked. Some of the bookings came from other websites, so you'll see an X in those parts because it wasn't from Airbnb, but we were basically fully booked out and making an income of just having it on Airbnb. I would say to somebody that if you want to build wealth, real estate is actually one of the ways that you can do it, because property will increase in value. Once you have it in a good location and a location that's going to flourish, you can make money. Airbnb is not the only way that you can invest in property to make money, because there are also properties that you can put for long-term rental that can also make you some money. I have my own issue with long-term rental, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good investment. There's also business property that you can invest in and all sorts of stuff. Property will always increase in value once it's in the right location, and that is why we decided that this is the way that we want to go. We want to diversify our portfolio though, so we invest in stocks and we want to invest in other things. Coming from a low socioeconomic background, I want to create something for my kids that they can have something to look forward to. I want them to give them the start that I didn't have. I'm glad that I had to work hard for everything that I have, but I feel like I could have reached further if I had something to start with. So I'm going to give my kids that start. It's hard work and I'm dedicated to do that for my kids. My husband and I, we try our best and we're always looking out for the next thing that we can do so that we can make extra money. After I was done, this is how the house turned out. I was very pleased with everything. The apartment is clean. All my guests have always loved the apartment and just be commenting on how nice and cozy it is for a reasonable price. If you're ever coming to Kingston, you can always book my apartment on Airbnb, or if you want to go to Discovery Bay, you can book our other Airbnb. That's the end of my video, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace out.